Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today's Friday, January the 5th. We've got a huge 14-game schedule today. As usual, we're going to break every single game down, do some analysis, try to find an edge, and come up with some winners. But now, before tip-off, my best bet of the day down as a pinned comment. Since we do have a huge card today, guys, there are quite a few games that I'm pretty interested in. We might have more than one best bet of the day, so stay tuned there. Also, on my Twitter, at Pick'emNBABets. And on that note, guys, since we have a lot to go over, let's not waste more time. Get right down to it. Let's go. In our first game, we got the Utah Jazz in Boston taking on the Celtics. The Utah Jazz have won 4 out of their last 5 games. The team is uptrending, coming off a 6-point win at home against the Detroit Pistons in their last game. Boston, they're coming off 2 games on the road where they split. They beat up on the Spurs and lost their last game to the Oklahoma City Thunder at home. Now back home where they are undefeated, 16-0, the only undefeated team in the NBA. Boston, in their last 2 home games, guys, they did kind of struggle against Detroit and Toronto. Against Detroit, they got down by 20, came back and won in overtime. And in Toronto, just a 2-point win. But big difference here, guys. Boston was not playing at full strength in those 2 games. Utah, we know, is not that good on the road. Of course, they're not as bad as they were in the first 20 or so games of the year. They are improved. But, guys, in this game, they're getting a Detroit Pistons kind of line here. I think Utah, guys, they've won 4 of their last 5. This line is a little higher than I had estimated. As you can see, 2 points. Boston is going to be at full strength tonight. There is a difference from their last 2 games, like I mentioned, against Detroit and Toronto. So one way that I can go in this game is going to be with Boston minus the 14. I'm going to lay the points, and I'm going to put 2 stars behind this play. In our next game, we got the Atlanta Hawks in Indiana taking on the Pacers. The Hawks, guys, have actually won 2 straight games. The trashy-ass Hawks, I like to call them, on a short little mini winning streak. They beat the Oklahoma City Thunder in their last one, a nice win. They did catch the Thunder on the second night of back-to-back, but still got the job done. The Indiana Pacers on a 5-game winning streak, red hot, just beat the Milwaukee Bucks in 2 straight, and 4 out of 5 this year, guys. Very impressive. Tyrese Halliburton is playing at an all-star level, a starter's all-star level. He has been playing fantastic. Both teams, guys, we know like to play run and gun. Just take a look at the total and you'll know what I'm talking about. We got an all-star game total in this game. But Indiana, guys, has made an effort recently to start locking down a little bit on defense. Even Coach Carlisle. Doesn't that dude look like Jim Carrey? Kind of looks like Jimmy. Every time I look at him, I keep thinking of Jim Carrey. He actually said something funny when he was asked about defense, and he said, his quote, "I heard being historically great on offense is fun, but even dating a pretty girl gets boring after a while if she can't guard anybody." And if you look at that, that's actually pretty funny. And if you look at the final results, the last results of Indiana, it's not that bad on the defensive end. They gave up 113 to Milwaukee the game before. They did give up 130. The last one was really high scoring. 113. They gave up 104 to Chicago, 117 to Houston. It's not that bad. I know it's still a lot of points, guys, but for Indiana, it's not that bad. Now in this game, guys, I can only go one way. That's going to be with the Pacers. This line does make me a little bit nervous. It is a little low for my liking. As you can see, I had it at 4.5. It's at -3. This is why I'm going to take the Pacers here on the money line, pay the little extra juice, and I'm going to put just 1 star behind this play. You guys know I don't like betting on Atlanta Hawk games. Up next, we have the OKC Thunder in Brooklyn taking on the Nets. The Thunder, guys, got their 5-game winning streak snapped in their last one against the Atlanta Hawks. It was a bad spot for them, a letdown spot. It was a second night of back-to-back, plus they had just come off a big win against the Celtics, came out flat, were never really in that game. Even though at the end they did make a run, only lost by 3, still their winning streak came to an end. The Brooklyn Nets, guys, have been sliding and sliding hard lately. Their losing streak is currently at 5, and in their last 3, they've actually lost pretty big. Granted, to be fair, all of those games were on the road and against good competition, but still, the team is downtrending. Tonight, first game back from a road trip, never a good spot. And if you look historically, guys, the OKC Thunder have dominated Brooklyn on their home floor, and especially the last couple of years, guys, Brooklyn, lots of stars on their team, and Oklahoma City was still winning. I know tonight's game, this -5, is going to be a public favorite. I don't really mind here, guys. I'm going to lay the Thunder minus the 5. I'm going to put 1 star behind this play. The only reason, guys, is I know the public is going to be back in this hard. The only thing this is from stopping me from going even bigger on the Thunder. And our next game, we got the Washington Wizards in Cleveland taking on the Cavs. Guys, not much analysis to do here. These 2 teams played against each other just a couple of nights ago. Cleveland blasted Washington by 39 points. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to look for a repeat performance and take Cleveland minus the 10 with 1 star behind this play. And our next game with the New York Knicks in Philadelphia taking on the Sixers. The New York Knicks guys have won 2 straight games since snapping that 3-game losing streak that they were on. After picking up OG Anunoby from Toronto, the team has performed well, especially on the defensive end. The last 2 games, the 2 wins that they got, they held Chicago to just 100 points and the Timberwolves to just 106, which means the Knicks are playing defense once again. The Philadelphia 76ers have won 3 out of their last 5. Got Joel Embiid back in the last game after a 4-game absence. They beat up on the Chicago Bulls by 13. The game was not as close as that final score indicates. Now, guys, the line in this game is pretty sharp. I had it at 6. It's at 6.5. This game is pretty tough to handicap on the side. What I'm going to do, like I said, New York has been playing defense. I'm going to look for this trend to continue. I'm going to look for a total play here. I'm going to take the under 227.5 points, and I'm going to put 2 stars behind this play. I think this game, guys, is going to be low scoring. Up next, we've got the Charlotte Hornets in Chicago taking on the Bulls. The Charlotte Hornets, guys, snapped an 11-game winning streak with a very impressive win in their last game in Sacramento. They were 15.5-point dogs. Winning there, got a straight-up W. The Hornets, guys, are capable. They do have a lot of quality in their team. They have been underperforming this season, been hampered with a bunch of injuries. LaMelo Ball has been out for a while. Gordon Hayward out once again. Mark Williams, starting center, also expected to miss. Team, though, could have built some confidence after that win in Sacramento. Chicago Bulls, guys, have won 2 out of their last 5 on a 2-game losing streak. But tonight, they could be getting some reinforcements. Zach LaVine and Nikola Vucevic listed as questionable. I think both of them have a very good chance of coming back, especially LaVine. I think he's got more chances than Vucevic coming back. The Bulls, guys, remember, they started going on their recent run, the big uptrend they were on once LaVine went down. Tonight, good chance he comes back. The chemistry might be disrupted. He's a very high-quality player, guys. Personally, I don't think he's going to be with the team after the trade deadline. I think they're going to move along, break this things up, break the team up going forward. I think Zach LaVine is the player that's going to be the first one headed out. For tonight, though, guys, like I said, I believe the chemistry will be disrupted if Zach LaVine comes back. And usually when a star player comes back, the team does not perform well. I'm going to take the Charlotte Hornets here, guys, with the plus 8.5, and I'm going to put 1 star behind this play. Up next, we got the Minnesota Timberwolves in Houston taking on the Rockets. The Minnesota Timberwolves, guys, have won just 2 out of their last 5 games and on a 2-game losing streak, which means a downtrend for the top team in the Western Conference. The last one, guys, was actually a pretty bad one at home, an ugly 11-point loss. Like I said, though, they are still first in the West, but the lead over the Thunder now is just at 1 game. The good news for the Timberwolves, they are expected to be at full strength tonight. Houston has also won just 2 out of their last 5, but those 2 wins came in their last 2 games. They're on a short little 2-game winning streak. And where else did they get those wins? But at home, where they're one of the strongest teams in the league at 14-5. Dylan Brooks still not expected to play for Houston. Everyone else should be in the lineup. Now, guys, in this game, as unpopular as this bet may be, I'm just going to keep it simple and keep rolling with the trend here. Houston, like I said, 2-game winning streak heading up, and at home where they are very strong. Minnesota on a downtrend, just 2 wins the last 5 games. Of course, it's dangerous, guys. A bounce back can come at any moment, but I'm going to follow here the Houston Rockets with the plus 3.5. 1 star behind this play. And our next game with the LA Clippers in New Orleans taking on the Pelicans. The Clippers, guys, are red hot. The team has won 4 straight games and are now just 3 games out of the top spot in the West. It's actually pretty impressive if you think about it, especially the way how bad the team was playing once the James Harden's deal came on. For like 6 or 7 games, guys, they were struggling. They were on a bit of a losing streak, but they've put it together, though. And now they're actually starting to look like a very serious contender. Tonight, they're going to be at full strength, coming in with a bunch of momentum. Talking about momentum, though, the Pelicans have also been on a hot streak themselves. They're also on a 4-game winning streak. And like I mentioned just earlier in the previous game, they're coming off a big win against the Timberwolves on the road. Pelicans, guys, also pretty much at full strength. Trey Murphy is the only player listed as questionable. Now, guys, the line is pretty much a pick 'em. Pick which side you think is going to win. Personally, I like the Pelicans here. I don't know if the Clippers match up too well with New Orleans. New Orleans does have a lot of size. They got Zion Williamson. The Clippers, very perimeter-oriented. They pretty much got Zubac and Daniel Tice. I don't know if Mason Plumlee is going to come back, but even if he does, he's been out for a while. I don't know how effective he's going to be. So I think the matchups do favor the Pelicans here. They've been hot. I'm going to take them here at home, guys, plus 1.5. 2 stars behind this play. In our next game, we got the Portland Trailblazers in Dallas taking on the Mavs. Guys, I'm going to have the same story for this game like I did with the Cleveland-Washington game. Dallas and Portland played just a couple of nights ago. Dallas destroyed the Trailblazers in that game. What I'm going to look for is a repeat performance. Take Dallas here minus the points once again. 1 star. I don't think I'm going to be betting on this game, but I think Dallas is the right side here. Up next, we got the Orlando Magic in Denver taking on the Nuggets. The Orlando Magic guys going to play the final game of this West Coast trip. 4 games. They've gone 0-3 so far. Lost to Golden State, Phoenix, and Sacramento. And all 3, they were very competitive, but they fell just short. They did cover the spread in 2 of those 3 games. Tonight, they're going to have some very important players missing. Franz Wagner, Gary Harris, and possibly Wendell Carter Jr. going to miss tonight's game. Not good news for the Orlando Magic. Denver coming off a huge comeback win last night in San Francisco against the Warriors. They got down by like 18 points with 6 minutes left in the game came on. They rallied all the way back, guys. And Jokic hit this crazy shot from half court at the buzzer. They ended up winning by 3. Guys, recently I saw Michael Porter Jr.'s podcast. He did it with Nikola Jokic. We know Jokic, guys, doesn't appear on these podcasts, but since he's his teammate, he did show up. And he talked about something very interesting in that podcast. He said ever since their championship run, they feel like they should be winning every single game, and that it feels weird to them when they don't win. It's just the mentality on the team is a winner's mentality. I think this is more than half the battle here, guys, for some of these teams. Denver believes themselves. For example, look at the Pistons, guys. They kept losing. They got demoralized. It became a habit, and they just kept losing and losing and losing. This is completely opposite here for the Pistons. They are champions. They feel like they should be winning every game. And it did show in the last one against the Warriors. Big comeback, big win for the Nuggets. Tonight, guys, now this is going to be a back-to-back. After an emotional win, it could be a tricky spot, but like I said, some of these players for Orlando, very important, they're going to be missing. I'm going to take Denver, guys, at home. They are strong at home, minus 9.5. I know this isn't going to be too popular, but I'm just going to put 1 star behind this. I think they can repeat what they've done pretty much all season at home, and that is be dominant and win big. I'm going to take them here minus the points. Up next, we got the Miami Heat in Phoenix taking on the Suns. The Miami Heat guys have won 3 out of their last 5 games, coming off a very nice win in LA over the Lakers. They played pretty well, guys, but I think anybody that would have played the Lakers that night would have beat them. The Lakers were just absolutely horrific in that game. Nevertheless, guys, they did get the job done. Got to give them credit. They played well. They did their part. They're still going to be without Jimmy Butler and Caleb Martin. Everyone else that played against the Lakers should be available in this game. The Phoenix Suns, guys, got their winning streak snapped in their last one against the Clippers. They pretty much had no chance in that game. Clippers red hot coming in with momentum. They were playing without KD. Bradley Beal recently came back. Still going to take him a while, guys, to get to his full 100% self. But they did make a run at the end. Just fell short, though, in that game. KD, guys, is actually listed as questionable for tonight. Gotta check his status. I'm guessing he's gonna sit because he was out with a hamstring strain. He missed 2 games. Gotta check his status. So if he doesn't play, guys, I'm gonna keep rolling with Miami here. I'm gonna take him plus the points, plus 2.5, 1 star though. But guys, gotta wait and see if KD plays or not. If he plays, completely off this bet. But if he doesn't, taking the Miami Heat plus the points. And our next game, we got the Detroit Pistons in Golden State taking on the Warriors. The Pistons guys have lost 2 straight ever since snapping that 28-game losing streak. But they actually look pretty good in their last one against Utah, a 154-148 loss. But they had their chances to pull off an upset. They were 8.5-point dogs in that game. Played pretty well overall. Beef Stew, Isaiah Stewart still going to be out for the Pistons. Also, Alec Burks, he played well against the Utah Jazz. Listed as questionable. Got to check his status. Golden State, guys, like I just mentioned earlier, coming off a brutal home loss to the Nuggets. They had that game won. They were up 18 with a little over 6 minutes left in the game. Ended up getting ran at the end. Golden State, guys, has been pretty unlucky this year. They've lost, 3 or 4 games at the buzzer. I remember Paul George got him once with the Clippers. Malik Monk got him against the Kings. And I also remember that game in Oklahoma City where Draymond Green had fouled Chet Holmgren on a 3. The game went to overtime and they ended up losing that one. So they lost quite a few games at the buzzer. Now tonight, guys, looks like a great spot, and it's actually a good opportunity for them to bounce back right away from last night's brutal home loss. It is going to be a back-to-back. I don't think it's going to be that easy, guys. The Detroit Pistons showed that they can put points on the board. They put up 148 against the Pistons. I don't think this is going to be easy. Tough spot. Of course, the Warriors guys could come in and blow away the Pistons. These are the Detroit Pistons we're talking about. But I'm going to take a shot here with Detroit and the points. Just 1 star, though, behind this play. I don't think I'll be betting on this game, but I think Detroit can keep it within the number. Up next, we got the Memphis Grizzlies in LA taking on the Lakers. The Memphis Grizzlies guys just 1 win in their last 5 games. And that 1 win was just against the San Antonio Spurs, an 8-point win. They were not that great in that game either. The team is downtrending. To be fair, the scheduling has been a little tough. In those 5 games, they have had 2 back-to-backs and against very good competition. They had the Sacramento Kings, the Raptors playing well, the Clippers, Denver. Tough teams on the schedule. Nevertheless, though, guys, they are on a downtrend. Derrick Rose not expected to play out with a hamstring injury. The Lakers guys have also lost 3 straight, just 1 win in their last 5. And man, was that last one against the Miami Heat a disaster. They looked horrible throughout that whole game, guys. Lost wire to wire. Just a horrific performance by the Lakers. Were never really in that game. D'Angelo Russell and Hachimura missed out. Still expected to miss tonight. Got to check their status, though, and if we get a surprise and one of those two comes back. Guys, I know Memphis has struggled in LA. They don't play well against the Lakers, but the way the Lakers looked in their last game against Miami, I would back even the Detroit Pistons to beat LA the way they've looked. In this case, guys, I'm going to take the Memphis Grizzlies here plus the points. Just 1 star, though. Like I said, the only thing that troubles me here is I know Memphis does not perform well in LA against the Lakers. And in our last game tonight, we got the Toronto Raptors in Sacramento taking on the Kings. Raptors guys have won 2 straight games since the trade that brought over RJ Barrett and Emmanuel Quickley. In their last one, a nice 5-point win against the Grizzlies on the road. Playing pretty well are the Toronto Raptors. Trade rumors still floating around, but the team looks unaffected. Still locked in, playing pretty decent in their last 2. No new injuries. Everyone should be available. Sacramento Kings guys bounced back from that horrible loss to the Charlotte Hornets. They were 15.5-point favorites, dropped that game. Second night of a back-to-back for them the next day against the Orlando Magic. Always a bad spot for Sacramento, but they picked up a very impressive win at the end. 3-point win, 138-135 against Orlando. They did have a day off, so they should be rested for tonight and at full strength. Toronto guys has actually beaten the Sacramento Kings like 5 straight times, 5 years in a row. They've had their number. They've always played well in Sacramento, it seems. So, guys, with that trend, let's follow that trend, guys. And Toronto, of course, last 2 games, like I said, playing pretty well. Sacramento, always tough at home. Just never know what you're going to get with them, though. I'm going to take a shot here with Toronto plus 5, and I'm going to put 1 star behind this play. And this is what I got for you guys today on this Friday, January the 5th. Big 14-game schedule. We broke each one of the games down, did our analysis, got our picks, and we are ready to go. Out of all these 14 games, guys, the game that I'm really looking at is the game between the Pelicans and the Clippers. I am leaning on the play with New Orleans. This will probably be my best bet of the day. There's also some other looks that look interesting to me, like the under in the New York-Philadelphia game. Also, am looking at Boston to lay these points. I know they look like a lot of points, guys, but I think we could have a big blowout in that game. Those are the 3 looks as of now, but I think the Pelicans will probably be my best bet of the day. Of course, guys, it is still early. A lot can happen from now until then. The injury report, line movements, all that good stuff. I will post my plays as a pinned comment about an hour before tip-off down on the video. Also on my Twitter at Pick'emNBABets. So, guys, with that being said, this has already been a long video. I'm going to wrap it up right here. I'm going to wish you all good luck on your plays, and I'll see you again tomorrow, guys. Later.